Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Raman Nasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu me Bho Rama Mamuddhara. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram. Satgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Ishavasyopanishad Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagate Tena Tyaktena Bhunjithaha Magradah Kasya Svidhanam Kuruvanneveha Karmani Jiji Vishechatagam Samaha Evam Tvai Nanyatetosti Nakaramalipyate Nare Asurya Namate Lokah Andhena Tamasavrutāha Tamste Pretyabhigachanti Yeke Chatmahano Janaha. Adhyatma Vidya is to do Atyantika Dukkha Nivrutti. We had seen in Vedanta Sara the purpose for which a seeker starts on the spiritual path is to attain that permanent bliss and to remove all kinds of sorrow. Upanishad is meant to give us that tool, give us that knowledge such that one can go and abide in that Ananda Swarupa Brahma. For this, two different mantras, two different ways it was pointed out. The first mantra was direct indication of that truth. Said if you are interested in Ananda Swarupa Brahma, if you want to abide in that absolute bliss, see this whole creation as that truth. Ishavasyam idagam sarvam. This is a matter of fact. Creation doesn't appear outside. It is a thought appearing in consciousness. It has emerged from consciousness. It is sustained in consciousness, and it dissolves in consciousness. In and through all these three stages, I should be able to pay attention to the substratum, which is Isha. Bhagavan acknowledges this will not happen overnight. It needs effort. It needs Shravanam, Mananam, and focus Nididhyasanam. At the same time, it needs sincere quest for this truth, disciplined life, and faith in Upanishad Pramana. These points we have seen before. I'm just recapping. That if somebody wants abidance in Ishavasyopanishad Sarvam, they cannot start their journey taking eyes to be Pramana for knowing the truth. So how is everything Isha? I see so many differences. I see so many name and form. So Pramana Buddhi, valid means of knowledge, has to be Upanishad. In that I should have Vishesha Shraddha. Vishesha Shraddha means other than this, there can be no other option. Other than such kind of a pramana, there is nothing else which will take me there. And once he has heard Upanishad, he doesn't allow perception to contradict with Upanishad pramana. Example which was given was sandalwood getting covered by water and the foul smell because of that water. Sandalwood came in touch with water. Because of that, that foul smell came. All we have to do is rub that same sandalwood and bring that fragrance out. And that fragrance will pervade the foul smell. Like that, because of some error, we have considered ourselves to be this individual ego, considered ourselves to be karta bhokta. Because of that, we did karma, for which we had to experience karma phala. And here we are in this world. One Mahatma Ji would say, अरे देखो जरा एक अज्ञान ने क्या क्या कर डाला. One small ignorance and see what it has done. Not only in this life, so many other lives, so many other shariras we are going through. This thought should come, how can I be free for good? For that Sadhaka Upanishad say, Ishavasam idagam sarvam, what you consider as bondage, what you consider as source of bondage, that thing actually does not exist. What you consider as experiencer of bondage, that entity also is an erroneous entity. It's a false perception. If this is your goal, tena tyaktena bhunjitaha. Don't get caught up anywhere. Take sannyasa. Tyaktena was tyagena bhunjitaha. Bhunjitaha means palayetaha. This knowledge is very precious. Don't lose it for the sake of anything in this world. Bhunjitaha was palayetaha. That's an important word. Bhagavan says, if you have gained this knowledge or if you appreciate this knowledge, that this should be your goal, then align your life such that this knowledge takes root. Plan your life such that this knowledge takes root and we are able to abide in our own Swarupa as Atma. And just like everything took time, everything had its own challenges. See, Atmanishta also will come with those challenges. It will not happen overnight, but doesn't mean it's impossible. For that matter, anything in Vedanta, we should not start with this idea that it is impossible, this is not for us. If it was not for us, then why would they write it? Why would they give so many Prakarana Granthas? Why would they elaborate so many topics? What it needs is single-pointed effort along with the other preparations. Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha ma grudaha kasya svidhanam. Here we had seen two meanings. I say whatever previous vasanas creep in while holding on to this truth, Don't allow that vasanas to take roots. Cut that sankalpa of that vasana in its root. Before a vasana becomes strong, it all starts with a sankalpa. We saw elaborately what are the steps involved in sankalpa in our Shiva Sankalpa Suktam. But for a sadhaka, it is said, before that thought becomes strong, thought becomes repetitive about any sense object, cut that sankalpa at its root. That is the meaning of magrudaha, kasya siddhanam. Shobhana buddhi, seeing joy in that thing, thinking that if I get it, it will be all good. That sankalpa one should drop. Actually, this also connects with the introductory Sambandha Bhashya, what we just saw, or what we saw in the beginning, where Bhagavan says, Mumukshu is somebody who has seen the limitations of Karma Phala. Somebody who is coming to study Vedanta, somebody who wants eternal result. That sadhaka has seen the limitations of Karma Phala. What is the topmost limitation of Karma Phala? Impermanence. Impermanence. He says, no matter what I get, no matter what I do, it's only a matter of time, things are going to fall apart. This, if it sincerely hits a sadhaka, they'll become sincere students of Vedanta. Magrudaha kasya siddhanam. And the second meaning was, if you have understood something to be mithya, hold on to that knowledge and don't go after that thing. Something which is mithya is not varaniya. Varaniya means to be sought after, to be set as a goal. Now, this is the final stage we have to reach. This is what will bring atyantika dukkha nivrutti. We don't start our journey for the sake of Upanishads. We don't even start our journey to gain some knowledge about ourselves. We start our journey because we see some limitations in our life and we feel there might be an alternative available. Whenever was our first satsang, what struck to us in that satsang? Say, oh, I lived my life thinking this is how I should be happy. But I see somebody telling me that there's some other way to be happy also. And then we started studying Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Bhaja Govindam, Upadesha Sara. All texts came after that. And we should always keep connecting to where we started. And keep asking ourselves, have I gotten what I wanted? Otherwise, what is the use? We started with limitation, started with sorrow. Now we have a lot of knowledge, same limitations, and probably more sorrow. So that kind of constant inquiry helps a lot in realigning our goal. Even though this is our final goal, it is possible. A sadhaka might feel, I am not ready yet. The need for Atma Vidya is not appreciated. World looks very nice. So what is wrong? Unnecessarily you keep saying, there is dukkha, there is sorrow. Even Punarjanma is okay. I will come back as long as everything is taken care of. You see, that is what is no guarantee. You know, we say there are 84,000 species, right? 84,000 life forms. Now, don't get caught up with the numbers. It's a big number, okay? Shastriya is 84,000. Yoni, they say. Science says whatever, 3 million or something. I had read in one place, this Mahatma Ji was saying, we say human birth is one of those 84,000. And if you lose this, you don't know when you are going to get it back again. He said, if you lose this birth, we have to go through all 84,000 and then come back again. And this was a great Mahatma Ji. If he makes a statement, he will make it with authority and responsibility. Meaning we take it for granted that human birth will be available hereafter also. He said, no guarantee. See that kind of limitation. For that sadhaka to get ready for mantra 1. Mantra 1 was Jnana Nishtha. He says, to get ready for mantra 1, you can get prepared through mantra 2. One thing to remember is, mantra 2 and mantra 1 are not alternatives. Mantra 2 is our starting point. Mantra 1 is our destination. If we miss this point, we'll be thoroughly confused about jnanam and karma. In fact, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, I am writing whole Bhagavad Gita Bhashya to establish this point. Some commentators, they have established, you have one path called as karma, which will take you to your goal. You have another path called as jnanam, which will also take you to your goal. He says, I am writing this whole Shankar Bhashya on Bhagavad Gita to say that, or to establish this point. Bhagwan in Bhagavad Gita is not talking about two independent paths. He is talking about one preparatory path which has to prepare us to our destination. Second mantra was about Karma Yoga. Doing actions is not an optional thing. All of us have to engage in some or the other action. But the question is, how do we do those actions? Kurvan neveha karmani. Kurvan is not an option. Kurvan neva. You have to do, but we saw eva word there refers to Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga cannot be without an altar. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, they're two sides of the same coin. Whenever there is devotion in the heart, what expresses outside? That is called as Karma Yoga. Even when we say we are doing seva of the Lord, seva of the Lord cannot happen unless there is devotion in the heart. So Bhakti Yoga lives inside, Karma Yoga is outer manifestation. So this sadhaka starts doing several things in life. Entire Navadha Bhakti is for that sadhaka who is practicing the second mantra. First he goes, does satsang, pratama bhagati, santanakara sangha. Then sits there and doesn't do mechanical shravanam. Takes rasa in that thing. Dusari rati mama katha prasanga. Guru pada pankaja seva, tisari bhagati amana. Then does seva of the teacher. Chauti bhagati mama gunagana, karahi kapata tajigana. Gives up pride, gives up any kind of prejudice, then sings glory of the Lord. So on the sadhanas go, we should keep connecting. All those 9 forms of devotion are for a Karma Yogi. Because devotion has to be there inside, then only Karma Yoga can express outside. Sapanehu nahi dekhahi paradosa. Vanaprastha Satsang, we elaborately saw this point. That Satsang we are doing Navadha Bhakti. This sadhaka, his mind has become so pure. Other than Bhagwan, not even a little bit of worldly thing he can handle. Worldly thing meaning all the vices. Paradosha means seeing faults in others. He says, my Bhagwan, the most worshipful Lord, is seated right in this person's heart. How can I see dosha there? He says, this is one form of devotion that alone manifests in a Karma Yogi. Navama Sarala Sabasana Chalahina. Straightforward, living a dharmic life, devoted life. That is this sadhaka who becomes fit adhikari for second mantra. Like this, he is doing his karma, offering to that same Bhagwan whom he worships. The important point there was there is a difference between Karmi and Karma Yogi. There is also a difference between Satkarmi and Karma Yogi. Satkarmi might be doing good work. There is one shloka also on what is Satkarma. Vapi Kupa Tadagadi. Means he goes, opens wells, opens, lot of social work he does. Takes care of, whatever is the need of the society. You say, whatever good work is there, you put my name. That is called as Satkarma. But it is not necessary that Satkarma is Karma Yoga. Unless this Abhimana goes, I have done it. So Satkarma is one way, but that same Satkarma, when it has devotion to the Lord, becomes Karma Yoga. So he doesn't live in this bhava, karta aham, but lives in the bhava, sevakaha aham. In this way, jiji vishe chatagam samaha. Don't live an uninspired life. Don't live a life which is very dry. Just live an enthusiastic life. Look forward to doing good things, provided it is Karma Yoga. See, whenever we take any medicine, the result should be seen. If you say, I'm taking the medicine, but nothing is working, either I'm not taking it in the right way, or problem is something else. So if I'm saying I'm doing Karma Yoga also, but Vairagya is not coming, and we are not graduating to Mantra 1, that is where one has to reflect, one has to introspect. So that's why this difference between Satkarma and Karma Yoga becomes very, very important. Am I still stuck in Satkarma? Good action. Akarma, Vikarma, they are not even discussed. Means if somebody is doing some kind of tamasic karma, some erroneous thing, is that we have to fix first by all other, whatever we can do to fix them. But now we are talking about Satkarma and Karma Yoga. Good actions and divine actions. Jiji Vishet Shatagam Samaha. Other than this option, there is no alternative. Evam Tvai Nanyatetosti. There is no other alternative than living such kind of devoted life. Na karma lipyate nare. If we have been blessed with a human body, this is one of the greatest accomplishments we can get. What is the accomplishment? In spite of living in this world, in spite of doing actions, this sadhaka is untouched by those actions, untainted by those actions, which is very hard, difficult to happen unless there is an altar. First mantra, Jnana Nishtha. Second mantra, Karma Nishtha. Now there is somebody who doesn't follow either. Now this is third category. Who says, what kind of rules? What sadhana? Why should I be spiritual? I can do whatever I want. You say early morning you should do prayer. Why should I do prayer? Do some kind of satsang. Do some kind of spiritual thing, devotional thing in life. Everything has a question. As if there is no preparation done in human birth. What is the destination of such a jiva? That is pointed out in the third mantra. Now, whenever this ninda is done, ninda means criticism is done, it is actually called as Artha Vada. Remember the 6 limbs we had seen? Tatparya Nirnaya in Vedanta Sara. One of that was Artha Vada. Artha Vada means praise. So it is not to criticize avidwan, it is actually to praise knowledge. So if you do this, then everything will be fine. Parents many times say this, right, to children. If you don't study, this is what will happen. I will not say what all they say, although they come and tell me. But you all know. Now we are not doing criticism of the child. We are just saying if you don't get serious now, journey here onwards will be difficult for you. And because we care for you, we are sharing this perspective. In the same way, Mother Shruti, in the form of this Upanishad mantra, out of compassion, is telling us, if we don't follow mantra 1 or mantra 2, live an impulsive life, don't control the mind, don't control sense organs, where do we go? Asurya namate Lokah. They go to the life forms. Lokah here means sharirani. Life forms, physical bodies, which is filled with ignorance. And in that life form, one cannot get the knowledge of self. Lokaha there refer to sharirani, and Asurya is not being able to get knowledge of self. Why is it? Andhena tamasavrutaha. It is covered by thick ignorance. Means all priorities are upside down. No discussion of spiritual topics. No opportunity to think about anything higher. Literal meaning will be, it's a dark world with no sun. Asurya is no sun. Andhena tamasavrutaha. Andhena means darkness. But it's not literal darkness, it is spiritual darkness. When we see the Bhashya, it will open up more. Bhagwan has so beautifully brought out these points. Andhena tamasavrutaha. Tamste pretyabhi gachanti. Tam means stavarantan. They go to these life forms where knowledge of truth is very difficult to take place. Having dropped this body, that is where they go. Tamste pretyabhi gachanti yeke cha Atmahanah janaha. They are called as Atmahanah, slayers of their self, slayer of Atma. Now that word itself should bring many questions. Just now you said Atma is Ajara, Amara, nobody can slay it. How come this person is called as Atmahanah? Bhagwan Shankaracharya writes, no, this is Anand Giriji, his sub-commentator. He writes, if you put mithya dosha on somebody, let's say if there is a good person and that person gets mithya dosha, it is as good as doing hananam of that person. He says, like that, if you put mithya aropa on Atma, of kartrutva, bhoktrutva, janma, marana. That is as though doing hananam of Atma. All these points are very beautifully brought out, which we would not have understood just by looking at Atmahanah means what. Atmahanah, he says, in a lifeless person, there is no sensation. Like that, if you are insensitive to your own greatness, if you are insensitive to our own divinity, infinitude, it is as good as doing hananam of that Atma. Means our own self, this divine nature is there, and we are not even perceiving it. Another hananam is when we ignore somebody. When somebody is ignored, he says that as good as doing hananam. So that commentator, Anand Giriji, writes, if you are ignorant about Mahima of Atma, that is as good as doing hananam of Atma. Means Atma Lakshana is not available to us. He says that is a great sin committed. And it is said, whenever we commit any sin, there is always some prayaschitta available by which you can reduce that sin, the effect that comes from that sin. Here he humorously writes, for Atmahananam, there is no prayaschitta also. Means if you ignored Atma and you are going to get result for that Atmahananam, what can I do so that I can reduce this result that is going to come? He says, there is no prayaschitta, you will have to go through all samsaranam. 100% results will come. We cannot reduce that kind of transmigration. So this was the general meaning of the mantra. Now let us see Bhashya. Same thing will open up more. Atha idanim avidwan nindarthah avidwan nindarthah ayam mantrah arabhyate Asuryaha Paramatma Bhavam Advayam Apekshya Devadayah Api Asuraha Tesham Cha Swabhutaha Lokaha Asurya Nama shabda anarthakah nipakah te lokah karma phalani lokyante drishyante bhujyante iti janmani. Yeah, let us pause here. Atha idanim avidwan nindartah ayam mantrah arabhyate. Now mantra number 3 is being started to criticize avidwan. But whenever avidwan is criticized, what is praised is vidwan, what is praised is vidya. That example you remember, parents scolding a child. It is not scolding, it is actually praising the right thing. So here, journey of avidwan is pointed out. It is just to tell us how we should become alert about the ways of life that we are living right now and put forth effort in the right direction. Asuryaha. What is this Asuryaha? Paramatma bhavam advayam apeksha. From the standpoint of the supreme most truth, Paramatma, Advayam, the non-dual truth, Paramatma bhavam advayam apeksha, Devadayah, even Devatas, Asuraha. They are also called as Asuras. From the standpoint of absolute truth, from the standpoint of Chaitanya, even Devatas are called as Asuras. Why is it so? Tesham cha swabhutaha lokaha. Because they are living in the world which is full of bhoga. Swabhutaha means bhogya bhutaha. Filled with different types of bhoga. That is why they are called as Asurya nama lokaha. Asurya means, or Asura, that word means Asushu Ramante. The one who revels only in sense organs. The one who thinks what I see alone is truth. If at all happiness has to come, it will come through sense organs, through some sense object. So Asushu means sense organs, one who revels only in sense organ. Asushu Ramante iti Asuraha. In this, we don't need to go too far or try to imagine something. Oh, Devatas are living there, that's why they are Asuras, because they are, indulgent. In our own life, we see, whenever we step away from our study, little bit you go here and there, go for a vacation somewhere, lot of things are around. Whatever food you want, it's available. Whichever time you want, you can go out, spend time. Does this thought come that I should study on that day? If it comes, then congratulate yourself. In general, very hard to get that thought. Why vacation? At home only we see. Routine getting disturbed little bit, it is sufficient for several months, several years of practice to fall apart. That is this vritti. Bhagavan says that is called as Asurya loka. So whenever that happens, we should remember this mantra. Which loka am I entering? Asurya namate lokaha, where mind is not appreciating the main purpose. Bhagavan is so precise. He says, Nama shabdaha anarthako nipataha. Kasya swid dhanam. In mantra 1, he said, swid shabda anarthako nipataha. Means it doesn't have any independent meaning. It is just there to fill the meter or something. Doesn't have its own meaning. So here he says, Nama shabda, Asurya namate lokaha. That Nama shabda also doesn't have meaning. Somebody might say, I know, Nama means name. Nama means this is what it is called. That is called as Nama. He says, no, in this mantra, because Asurya word is interpreted in this way. Means even Devatas are called as Asuras. So you cannot take the meaning of Nama to be its common meaning. Nama shabda is only anarthako nipataha. So Asurya is not only Asura loka or some other world. He says wherever the mind steps away from the truth, wherever the mind loses importance for the truth, that is called as Asurya loka. Not only does it lose importance, it becomes incapable of going further. Because if the mind has gotten carried away, it's very difficult to bring it back and put it on track. So if you, later when we see the meaning of the word tan refers to sthavarantan, plant, anything which is non-moving. In that life form, even if there is desire to study, desire to know something higher, still it cannot do. So not only the ability is taken away, but if it has desire, it cannot accomplish that particular goal. Nama shabda anarthako nipatah. Te lokah. What is lokah? See the precision, how Bhagavan is defining. Asurya nama te lokah, right? So te loka is coming from mantra. So what is lokah? Karma phalani lokyante, drishyante, bhujyante, iti janmani. That physical form, janmani here refers to sharirani. Janmani means physical forms. That physical form by which karma phalas are seen. Karma phalas are experienced. Lokyante, drishyante, bhujyante. In Tattva Bodha we had seen this sharira, physical body is bhogayatanam. Subtle body was bhoga sadhanam. Physical body was bhogayatanam. He says that is the sharira. So they go to those life forms where knowledge of truth is very difficult to take place. We'll continue. Andhena darshanatmakena ajnanena tamasa avrutaha achaditaha tan sthavarantan pretya tyaktva imam deham abhigachanti yatha karma yathashrutam. If there is any difference, just mark it and let me know later. Everything good, right, in this line? Okay. If the volume drops, then I feel that there is some pata bheda. I'm reading something and you are reading something else. Andhena. So the second quarter of the mantra, Andhena tamasavrutaha. That is being elaborated. Andhena means adarshanatmakena. That life form where darshan of Atma is difficult. That word is very beautiful. Another word for the sharira is darshanatmaka sharira. That life form where I can see the truth, behold the truth for myself. Adarshanatmakena ajnanena. If ignorance is there, knowledge cannot come and remove that ignorance in that life form. So what is that life form? It is covered by ignorance, because of which one is not able to see the truth. Ajnanena tamasa avrutaha. So tamasa avrutaha, tamas refers to ajnanam here. Ajnanena tamasa avrutaha achaditaha. It is covered. It is covered. Tan sthavarantan. Tan ste pretyabhi gachanti. Second line of the mantra. Tan sthavarantan. Sthavarantan means those life forms which cannot move, which are stationary. Important thing to note here is that stationary life form is being referred to here as Asurya namate Lokah. It is not some loka somewhere, that is also there. But in this Manushya Loka only, so many life forms are there. All except Manushya Sharira. Most of them are adarshanatmaka loka, where knowledge of truth cannot take place. Now, whenever we hear this, we'll suddenly start thinking of examples. So what about Kakabhushundi ji? What about Hanuman ji? What about others? Kakabhushundi ji says, I kept this Kaka Sharira because I got Ram Bhakti in this. He did Shravanam in Manusya Sharira only. Huh? Previous story of Kakabhushundi ji, when he gets cursed by Lomasha Rishi. He was in Manusya Deha, Vipra Brahmana. Went to Ujjain, went to Ayodhya. Means we cannot take exceptions as a rule. And also be careful about what we think. There is one saying, Jaisa man, vaisa tan. Jaisa man, as we think, like that we get physical body. That is the next part here. Stavarantan pretya tyaktva imam deham abhigachanti. Pretya means tyaktva imam deham. I hope you are getting to highlight also, which is the Upanishad mantra and how Bhagwan is explaining it. Tamste pretya abhigachanti. So pretya abhigachanti was there in the mantra. So what is pretya? Tyaktva imam deham. Having dropped this physical body. Abhigachanti. They go. Where do they go? Sthavarantan abhigachanti. They go to those life forms which are non-moving. Asurya namate Lokah. On basis of what does this transmigration happen? Are people randomly sent? One goes to Asurya Loka, another goes to Surya Loka. How are they sent? Yatha yathashrutam. As per our own karmas, what we have done in the past. And yathashrutam means what is our belief. Shrutam does not mean only what I have heard. Shrutam means what is my conviction, what is my belief, on which thing I have done upasana. This speed is okay, right? You are not feeling it's too fast to write and follow up. Online audience is able to follow? Okay. Because sometimes if you have to write every word of Upanishad mantra meaning, then it can get a little overwhelming. Don't have to write every word. Important ones you write. Yatha karma yathashrutam. Yatha karma means what I have done in the past. Right now what I am doing. Have I spent time worshipping Bhagwan? And yathashrutam means what is my repetitive pattern of thinking? Is it about Bhagwan or is it some other object? Based upon that, Jaisa man, vaisa tan. Tan means physical body, man means mind. As the mind, as the repetitive thought in the mind, so becomes the destination of this jiva. The best example for this is Raja Bharata. Yatha karma was very good. Did lot of sadhana, lot of tapasya. Was a great learned king. Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha also he does. Gives up kingdom. Takes sannyasa, goes and lives in the forest. But something falls apart in Magrudaha. And suddenly he sees a deer, then gets attached, and instead of Shrutam being on Bhagwan, that upasana starts happening on deer. That is why next Sharira is of deer Sharira. There was a question last time. Why do we say that, these Shariras, you cannot do karma? Means if somebody becomes a deer, does it mean that there is no way for them to evolve? Karma Siddhanta doesn't say that. What we say is there is something called as Sanchita Karma. From that, one portion is taken for us to become as Prarabdha. Until that Prarabdha is exhausted, we cannot do much. So if one jiva has to become a plant or a deer, let us say, until the deer Prarabdha is exhausted, it cannot accumulate new punya karma. On the strength of previous punya karma, it will get back whatever it has to get next. So it can become again Raja Bharata from that deer. So this is the journey where karmas take it up and down. So being very careful, if we have gained this human body, what are we repeating? Which thought is getting repeated in the mind? Because next destination is based on that. In this Upanishad, the last 4 mantras, they are so beautiful. It is talking to somebody who has lived a dharmic life. Bhasmantagam shariram kratosmara krutam smara. The Upasaka, he is on his deathbed, ready to leave his prana. He says, I have no fear of giving up this physical body. Bhasmantagam shariram. This body will burn into ashes. I have no fear of it. Because I remember all the good things I have done in this life. Kratosmara, krutam smara. Remember the Lord whom you have worshipped. And whatever good things you have done as a devotee. All sadhana, all japa, all tapasya. If that much he has done in this life, he says next birth has to be good. I have no doubts about where I am going to go next. Then the next mantra comes, Agne Naya Supatha Raye Asman. May Bhagwan lead us to our next destination. So Yatha Karma, yathashrutam. Shrutam word, what does it refer to? Repetitive thinking, upasana. Upasana. Yatha karma we know, karma is action. But that alone is not sufficient. What is our belief? Whatever we believe in, that only we will repeat. That only we will have more connection towards. Now, yeke Atmahano janaha, that part is elaborated. Atmanam granti iti Atmahanaha kete janaha ye avidwan saha ye avidwan saha katham te atmanam nityam himsanti avidyadoshena vidyamanasya atmanah tirascaranat vidyamanasya atmanah yat karyam phalam ajaram phalam ajara amaratvadi samvedana lakshanam tadhatasya iva tirobhutam bhavatiti prakrutaha avidvamsaha janaha atmahanah uchyante te nahi atmahananadoshena samsarantite atmanam granti iti atmanah. Those who have slayed the self, they are called as Atmahanah. Who are those people who have done this? Ete janaha. Who are those people who have slayed the self? Ye avidvamsaha. Those who are ignorant, they are these people who have slayed their self. So Atma word here refers to Shuddha Chaitanya. Atma is not referring to Sharira. Atma is not referring to mind. Atmahanah, that Atma word refers to pure consciousness. So they have as though slayed that Atma. Katham te Atmanam nityam himsanti. Nityam Atmanam katham te himsanti. that Atma which is Nitya. Nainam chindanti shastrani. Everything is said in Bhagavad Gita. How come they went and killed this Atma? Atmanam Nityam Katham te himsanti. How come they slayed this? Bhagavan answers, avidya doshena. By remaining ignorant. Means if you are ignorant about ourselves, that is as though doing hatya of Atma. Avidya doshena vidyamanasya atmanah tiraskaranat. Tiraskaranat means ignoring. That Atma which is ever present, by ignoring this great self, which is our own true nature, is that they have done Atmahananam. Means had a great opportunity in this human birth, got busy with something else. Now wait until the next birth comes. So those who have missed on this opportunity, is that person is called as Atmahanah. Vidyamanasya atmanah tiraskaranat. Second way to look at it, Vidyamanasya atmanah yat karyam. Karyam here means swarupam. Of that Atma which is Vidyamana, always present. The swarupa of that Atma is Ajara Amaratvadi. Means it does not change, does not modify. It is eternal, does not perish. This is its nature, samvedana lakshanam. And this sensation, just like in a lifeless person, no sensation is available. Like that, for this avidwan, nature of Atma is unavailable. So Bhagavan is comparing all these lakshanas to be sensation. Okay. Atmahananam means what? None of these lakshanas, none of these sensations are available to me. And that lakshana is Ajara, Amara, Nitya. Means when I look at myself, I still have this fear. What will happen to me tomorrow? That is identification with physical body, superimposed on Atma. When I look at my past, he starts feeling, oh, I was born. And right now he feels, I'm going through samsara. If any of these things happen, Bhagavan says you are doing hananam of that Atma. Means that samvedana, that lakshana which should have been available to you, that is not available. Just like in a lifeless person. Tadhatasya iva tirobhutam bhavati. Tadhatasya iva means just like in a lifeless person. Okay. Tirobhutam means covered, not available. Prakrutaha avidvamsa janaha atmahanah uchyante. Those people who live a very impulsive life, never strive to know the knowledge of truth, their own knowledge or their own nature, all of them are called as Atmahanah avidvamsaha. Tena hi Atmahanana doshena samsaranti te. Therefore, because they committed this mistake, Atmahanana dosha happened. The result of that dosha is samsara. While living here, samsara is in the form of roller coaster of the mind. Hereafter, samsara can be in the form of different life forms. So this avidya dosha will come with this karma phala. And this is where Anand Giriji writes, for all other mistakes, there is some prayaschitta. But for this mistake, there is no prayaschitta. Nowhere it is given, if you do Atmahananam, what prayaschitta you can do so that your transmigration is reduced. Asya atmaghatasya prayaschitatva vidhana adarsanat samsaranam eva phalam. Because there is no prayaschitta, he says samsara alone is the result. And the second analogy, which I had mentioned, he says, Yatha kaschit shuddhasya. Now, this you will not find in your commentary. Just listen. Yatha kaschit shuddhasya mithya abhishapaha ashastra vadaha uchyate. If somebody is innocent and they are put some falsely accused, mithya abhishapaha, ashastra vadaha, it is as though slaying them without any weapon. Tadvat atmani papitvadi adhyasaha api himsa eva ityarthaha. Is in the same way, in Atma, if you superimpose doership and think that I am a sinner, think that I'm going through experiences, all of that is hananam of Atma, because you are doing mithya aropa on Atma. Mithya aropa on Atma. That Atma, which is our own true self, never gets involved in creation, not karta bhokta. That Atma we are considering ourselves to be karta and bhokta. Okay. There are few examples now. Next session I will share those. Different places, Niti Shatakam, not Shatakam, Shatakam, and Ramayana also. Just same mantra, same ideas presented in a different form. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone.